I'm going to ask Teju first, right? In your experience, what are toxic behaviors, or what is toxicity in the workplace?
Okay. I actually like the statement you made where you said that how do we even know something is toxic? Just because someone said, "Oh, my boss is toxic." And I still
Mm-hmm.
had, it was quite coincidental because I've had conversations with friends who have experienced or are experiencing toxicity in the workplace, and it's usually with line managers, right? And it's
Mm,
so weird. We keep talking. If you check online, there's quite a number of contents, posts on toxic leadership, toxic organizations, and it all points to one thing with line managers, relationship between employee to line manager. So we wonder why that is still an issue. So for
mm,
me, I think one of the first signs of a toxic leader or a toxic organization is the good cop, bad cop strategy, right?
mm,
You see
mm.
that it once I see it, I just know. Sometimes you have maybe two leaders, especially with the CEO or CEO or the CEO or CTO, whatever, and one person is perceived as good and the other person is perceived as very bad. In a case where you have a fantastic CEO, just understand that there's going to be one other C-suite executive that is going to be bringing down the fire,
Right.
right? And you check that across several organizations. That's usually a strategy that I've seen that quite a number of persons adopt. And I honestly can't fault it for as long as it's not crazy toxicity. If you're a CEO who you're not as firm as you should be, or if you're a CEO, you want your other partner or another person on the same level as you to have that fire or that fairy. I think the second one for me would be where there's zero autonomy, right? Where you're unable to
Mm,
make decisions, someone has to constantly approve. It points to lack of trust in the
yeah.
business. And of course, the minute you, even with children, when you don't give your children a little bit of freedom, they become very cunning. They start looking for ways to game the system. It's the same way with organizations, wherein you're trying to show that, oh, I want to see what you're doing. Eventually, the people that are experiencing that will start looking for ways to game the system, will start cheating the system. So it has a ricochet effect. I think that's the second. Then I think the other would be passive aggressive behavior. Have you
Passive
been to
aggressive.
passive
Right.
aggressiveness? Whether HR, whether it's, you can't pinpoint it. Someone is, you can't, nobody is directly hostile to you. Nobody is shouting on you. Nobody is fighting. But you just know that there's something wrong. There's
Wrong.
a passive, I don't know how to describe it. Nobody is saying anything,
Anything.
but they are
Mm-hmm.
saying so much.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Oh, can I go on break? Of course you can go on break, but nobody's going on break. I'm
Mm-hmm.
leaving by 5 p.m. Work closes by 5 p.m. Of course, you can close by 5 p.m. There's no one telling you that you can't close by 5 p.m. But nobody is
But you
standing by
dare.
5 p.m. Then the next morning, you come to the office and
Yeah.
someone, maybe there's conversation going on, and someone just says, "Oh, yeah, I told you left by 5 p.m." Maybe that's why you didn't see when and the person is saying it politely, but you know now, you know when you sense when someone is trying to say that. So passive aggressiveness as well. I think there are so many others. If
Yeah,
you
there are.
encourage employees fighting, you choose favorites, you bully, quite a
Yeah.
number of them. But for me, those are the major ones that tells you that welcome to a toxic environment.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, I think that's very key, the passive aggression. So I like the examples that you gave. You know that everybody knows work closes at a certain time, but
Yeah,
that time comes and nobody's leaving the office. Like, guys, what's going on here? I thought we said work is. But if you dare
exactly.
stand up, if you dare get up, your salary is on the line. You will get fined. You will get fined. So yeah, that's a good example to highlight.